with the Lean team immediately. In 2001, I came for 10 years at Motorola, where I had my base in the Six Sigma world. So bridging my Six Sigma world and the Lean world made a very easy transition. So I came out better for it. So I started out working in the manufacturing environment, both at Motorola and here, and worked down there for a couple of years in manufacturing and decided, I need to take this into the office environment. So I went up to corporate development and said, here's how you spell Lean. And we started to work some office environment things. So we've been doing it ever since. And so I still keep my toes in the Lean business. I suppose more than I probably should sometimes, but anyway. We're going to introduce you to a process called TRIZ. And my cohort in crime over here, Dave West, also from corporate development. He and I utilize this methodology when we're working with our what we call ideation teams. And so we're going to introduce it to you guys today, and then we'll walk you through an exercise. So there's going to be very little looking up here. There's going to be more stuff going on at your tables there. So just to get into it, whoops, where's my clicker? There we go. Okay, TRIZ is a methodology that was created in the former USSR back in the 1940s. It is a problem-solving analysis tool that was devised by this team that, for years, analyzed the patent process and tried to understand what were some of the triggers, the things that made the patents become these breakthrough solutions. They went and looked at the problems they were trying to solve and how they went about solving those problems. So when they analyzed those, they were able to break it down into 40 themes of this is what the technology was, or this is the methodology of how they created that patent. And those have become the TRIZ triggers. And we are going to introduce those to you today. There were 40 of them that tended to repeat themselves across all the fields, and they gathered those together, and those are on on the handout. There you go, that's it. They're sitting here in this. It says platform triggers, feature triggers, and business model triggers. Originally it just started out with the platform triggers and the feature triggers, and as years went by, we started to pick this up in the business world and said, okay, now there's something different that we need to do. How would we sell this differently? And so then we put in this additional business triggers, which makes us look at, okay, can we change the methodology of how we're selling or how we're getting this to our customer? So those are on the back as well. They're referred to as creativity triggers because what they are intended to do is to have you stop and think about the problem that you're trying to solve and think of it in a different way. You want to start looking at it a little bit more creatively. Often when we get into a workshop environment and start doing brainstorming, we get into this immediate mind meld of, oh, I know how to fix this right away. And we get this group think and we're on, we're off to the races. But we don't take a step back and say, okay, let's look at this completely differently. So this creates sort of that out-of-the-box thinking. You pull out a trigger, you take a look at it and say, okay, now, utilizing this trigger, this random trigger, can I change the solution a little bit? Would I address it differently? So we're going to go through an exercise today on having you utilize the triggers, think outside of the box, and we're going to give you a problem to solve using those. Okay, here's an example of a situation where P&G had a very stable product, soap. They use bar soap. Everybody's got bar soap. Somebody said, you know what, I'm going to look at it a little bit differently. The problem is, the sales are starting to decline. Everybody else had a bar soap. How am I going to do things differently? they changed the platform. They changed their bar soap to a liquid soap. And you see what has happened to that industry now. I mean, it's completely taken off in a completely different direction. Bar soap is still there, but now they have a different platform that they can utilize as well. When we look at the business model triggers, everybody heard of that little company called Apple? They completely redefined how we buy our music, listen to our music. They changed the way they brought the music to the industry. They changed that business model. So looking at the variable cost reduction, which was the trigger, they were able to own the infrastructure, but not the content. We no longer have Walkmans. We have iPads, iPhones, iPods, all those little things. They completely revolutionized to that part of our industry. So I know we only have a little bit of time together as far as to how to utilize these triggers and a little bit of background of the triggers. But what we'd like to do is walk you through an exercise, have you have the triggers in front of you and be able to come up with a solution to a problem that we are going to present to you. Okay, on your table in front of you, we're going to send you through a pass card exercise. We're going to hit a few different methodologies here. First of all, these pass cards, when you go into a workshop and a brainstorming session, you get a lot of very brilliant people in the room, and there will be some that are very vocal and can command the attention of everybody. And there are a few that are sitting in the back that have got really brilliant ideas, but don't have that opportunity to verbalize it. So this is a way of being able to get everybody's input. This is called a pass card exercise. And what we'll do is when we give you the problem, we want you to write down your solution. Everybody gets the opportunity to get their solution out in front of the table, in front of the group. We're going to do this. You write down one, you pull a trigger card, you look at it, and come up with a different solution to the problem. Write it down, pass it to the right, and now you'll have an opportunity to get a third idea out. This gives everybody an opportunity to get their ideas out of their mind and in front of the group. And then what we're going to do, after we do that, we'll pass the cards one more time, and we'll continue to go to the right. We'll pass the cards one more time, and then you'll look at them and say, okay, out of these three solutions that have come out here from three different people, which one do I think is probably the weakest? Which one's not going to quite cut the mustard? And you cross that one out, you pass it to the right, we do it again. And at the end of the exercise, everybody is going to have in front of them a solution that should be the best and the brightest of those three that were written on your card. Okay, so everybody will have something in front of them. You will have shared your ideas amongst the rest of the group. Now, you can't cheat and keep writing the same idea every time. Every time you get it, it's like, oh, that was good the first time I wrote it down. I'm going to write it down again. You can't do that. You have to come up with a new idea every time. That's where the trigger cards come in really handy, because you can pull a trigger card out, and this one, it says reusable, disposable. Make all or part of the solution reusable, or make all or part of the solution disposable. So you sit there and go, okay, what can I reuse? You know, what is it, something that is already in existence and I can go ahead and reuse it in my solution? So just think about it when you take a look at the triggers. Okay? Has anybody got any questions before I introduce to you the problem that we're going to try and solve?
Before we do that, why don't you go ahead and show the spin wheel
Oh.
and so forth? So
Here's another little takeaway that when you're working in workshops that you want to consider, is that we have people learn and participate in completely different ways. I'm an absolute visual thinker. You've got to give me a picture. I've got to see things in color. Dave, everything needs to be in bullet points in a straight line. That's why he and I work really well together. We're sort of yin and yang. So between the two of us, you throw us in the bag, we come out okay.
and we drive each other crazy. So.
Yeah. So I've got the same triggers. I've split these up amongst the teams. But there's triggers that are on here. These are inputs and outputs, configurations. These are for those visual people that like color. and like the games, spin the wheel, and then it'll come up with a trigger. This one says change the timing to continuous, from continuous to periodic. Okay, sit there and go, okay, how can I change something? So that's one of the ways you can do the triggers. This is another visual way. This one right here, for the more linear thinkers, they can walk right down through the list and go, you know what, I want to do number 14. I want to make the platform scalable. You know, so make certain that you have the materials that will really speak to your audience, because you never know who's going to come through the door. If they're going to be those ones that need to have their hands on things, if they just need to look down the line, and really be able to get their creative juices going, whatever you have to put in front of them. Okay, so we walked through our pass card exercise. After we get done with our pass card exercise, what you'll have is 3 or, depending upon how many people on your team, so there's everybody has at least 5 people on a team, you will have 5 ideas, 5 solutions to this problem. You'll go to your designated area, which I have team numbers up here, and then with those 5 solutions, you'll say, okay, this is out of these, we can come up with 5 individual ones, or we can come up with one really great, knock your socks off, this is gonna work. So as a collective group, you're gonna come take those 5 solutions that bubble to the top and say, okay, this is what we're gonna apply to this. So we have about a half an hour to get this done, and here's the problem that we are going to solve.
If you folks have to move over there, if you wanted to see this, that's fine. You can't see it from that angle.
We are going to save everybody on the Titanic. It's not a big deal. There's only 2,224 people on board. There were enough lifeboats for 1,170 people. Problem is, we are going to save them all, utilizing the things that we have accessible around us. There's only so much they can do when they're out there in the middle of the ocean. It was going to take 2 hours for the Titanic to sink. They knew it. They knew they only had 2 hours. The ship was 4 hours away, so they knew they were going down. The engines only kept working for 20 minutes, and not that they knew this at the time, but once they hit the water, they had 4 minutes to survive. This is historical reference. So what we're going to do is save all 2,224 people. So what you'll see in front of you, one for each team, is we call this a context setting. And I've just provided to you the context. Told you what's going on with the customer or the people involved. And we've told you what some of the technical problems are that have just occurred. This is a very good tool to use when you're in your workshops, because you want to know from a customer's perspective or an end user's perspective what's going on in the environment that they're trying to, what's causing the problems that they're trying to solve. So sitting down and walking through this context setting to help understand the problem around them helps you get a better idea, helps your team get a better idea of what are we going to do, what's the problem that we're trying to solve. So I've cheated, I filled it out for you. There it is. Lifeboats for 1178. What's the problem? We hit a big old iceberg. We've got damage to the ship, too much water is coming in, it's going down. And we got 2 hours to do it. So what we have done is we've broken everybody into teams. Everybody has in front of them a pass card and it has numbers on it. Okay, so Team 1, we've got Team 1, 2 Team 2s, we've got 2 Team 4s, a Team 5, and Team 6. And we are going to break you down and we're going to tell you what materials that you can use to go, or where your environment is that you can utilize your tools or everything in the environment to save these people. There is one lucky person on each team that has a yellow dot. You are going to be the presenter. You are going to tell us what your solution is. So everybody has their own presenter. The other one is the scribe. You get to be the scribe for that team. Everybody needs to have a scribe. I'm just sort of shortcutting things so that you guys can figure out who's going to do what. I'm giving you your roles. You're going to need to do all the capturing of all the information. So we've got a team 6, you 5 are going to work as a team, you 4 are going to work as a team, and so on, so on. So every table should have 2 teams, with the exception of you guys. You guys are 1 team apiece. Okay, here's where you guys are at. Team 1, back there. You're going to be in the engine room. What do I got in the engine room that I can utilize to help fix my problem? Team 2 is in the staterooms, the bedrooms. Team 3 is in the kitchen. What did they have in the kitchen 100 years ago? And I'm guaranteeing there was not a microwave. So there better not be any microwave technology trying to save these folks. Team 4 is on the deck. What's out there? Team 5, the cargo area. I don't know exactly what was down there. I do know there was an automobile because I saw it in the movie. And Team 6, you're in the dining room. So you take a look, you've got to stop and think, what were the resources that they had available to them at that time that they could use to save themselves? Okay. Anybody have any questions before we get started? You know what your goal is, save them all. Okay.
Now, just as a technique on this, on the first line, everybody write down what they think is the best idea. From that point on, it's going to get a little harder. Then pull out the triggers and try the cards. And if the cards don't work, the next time, try the spin wheel. Try some of the other triggers and forms that are on the table, just to get a little feel for how they can be used, okay? All right.
Ready? So, use the materials you have in front of you. Yes, sir.
I have a question about these areas where all the teams are located. Does that mean that you can only suggest, for example, Team 6 use the resources in the dining room?
I would start there, but you're not limited to what's in the dining room. But start with what's in the dining room, because all of a sudden you're going to go, wait a second, I know I saw something over on the deck I could use. You know, how can we utilize those resources that are available?
You make the assumption already that, as she said, you've only got so many lifeboats out there that everybody's going to have access to, okay?
Okay, so we're going to give you about, 15 minutes to go through the past cards. And then we'll give you a few minutes to go ahead and consolidate it, and we'll do a report out, and we'll see how we save everybody. Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions?
They're the same. I would leave the packages already intact. I did not open those. I
No,
put some samples out
you
that you
only
guys
fill
can
out
use.
one line at a time, then pass it to the right. Okay? The next person puts another idea on it, and don't copy your idea or their idea. Let me know. And then I'll come back, okay?
You guys are right.
Okay, everybody just put that on line 1, then pass it to the right, okay? The other person will fill out the second one.
You're in the kitchen. Think about what's in the kitchen back there. Okay, and so we described for your team 30.
That's right, just put one idea down on line 1, then pass it to the right.
Does it have to be like ours in the engine room, or can I think of something?
No,
else?
you should be thinking of the engine room now. You can use common things like boats and things like that, but, you know, because they're available to everybody. Well, not everybody, they don't have enough.
Oh, did you? Oh, wait. Well, now you can't reuse it for sure.
The first one's going to be fairly, second, third, and $2. So once everybody's got one, they're down.
I think you can use it now.
Different idea. Challenges, you can use the cards, it's already on.
Okay, once you have one written down,
Try to put something, unless there's something you see on the card that you think you can actually come up with an enhancement to that.
now the second one's going to be a little tougher. You can build on that one, or you can come up with something brand new. That second one gets tough, and wait till you get to the third one, it gets even harder.
I got you.
I'm sorry?
Give an idea, just write on the first one.
Now remember, we're trying to save people here, so we got to make it effective.
price on them. So it's just another way of looking at it, those who want to use those.
Using one of these.
Driving that out of the box thinking. Because if it was easy, then it'd all been a lie. It was not easy, and they didn't have a lot of time.
We don't have to stress the data.
You do not have to stress that work for, yeah. It's not gonna go, okay, water's cold,
Yep.
and we're going down. You guys are kitchen and desk. What do we have in the kitchen back there? Microwave.
I'm sure I could have rescued myself.
Yeah, but what might they have? What are they gonna be carrying on that ship back then? We could use all.
This one.
Stuck on.
What are their containers? They don't have styrofoam containers. Their eggs don't come in a dozen.
We may just be thinking of what's traditional in the name, and we don't know how big they were now.
P.S. Their chickens were alive.
Probably need to think beyond the traditional table.
Brought by chickens.
Yeah. I don't know what else we're in there.
Large pots. Large pots.
Piano, musical instruments, probably a stage,
At least down on the deck, you guys have the lifeboats.
training facility.
It's a good place to start.
Tablecloths.
You guys are in the stateroom. What's in the bedrooms can be utilized?
I did this thing
And how can we utilize them? No, just to think it. No, just to think it. You've got curtains, you've got beds, you've got clothes, you've got bathtubs.
So I have
Unless, of course, you were in the steerage and you had bunk beds
lots of supplies.
and shared toilet, but that's.
Maybe use that to.
Never thought about toilet, did you?
The third one's the hardest. You gotta get that one. That's where the traders come in, really.
Once we're done with operations.
One day, it's got three, is that right?
Yes, you can start with what's in your complete area, the bedrooms,
And then based
to
upon
help
what you understand
tie
of the problems,
the boats together. So I'm gonna go steel curtains,
okay? You just
or
cross one,
whatever.
then pass it to the right, and you cross out another one. So there should be one idea left on it. Describe, then you go ahead and use the little stickums that we put, and write down on each one of the individual stickums what that answer was in each one of the cards,
Those third ones are pretty tough.
okay? And then
Are we about ready to go to that convergent round, where we're gonna start crossing off some of the weaker ideas? I'll give you a brief description of what we do in the convergent round. And then you guys as a team can go off and apply it as necessary. What we will do now is everybody will have a card in front of them that should have 3 ideas, and none of them were their own. They're gonna look at those, not knowing whose they were. They're gonna look at those and say, okay, this is probably the least viable one. It's not gonna quite work. It's good, but it's not gonna quite work. Cross it out. And then you're gonna pass it to the right and do the same thing again. Those teams that have 4, you'll eventually get one back that actually you have one of your ideas on it, but most of you will not have one with any of your ideas on it. So you don't have that pride of authorship of saying, yeah, this was mine, it was good the first time, and it's still good when I sit on my card. So you will all have a card in front of you that will have one final idea. The best and the brightest, the most innovative, the one this is going to save them all. That's what you will have at the end of your convergent round. So go ahead and, when you're ready, start doing your passing the cards around.
Okay, just remember, when you have the final
okay, we haven't got all three ideas out. Okay, well, you know what? When we get stuff like this, it's okay to talk it out with the team and say, you know what are we thinking? Or pull a trigger that we haven't tried before and everybody do it. Yeah, all the triggers are different. Yeah, so toss out the triggers and knock it out a little bit and see if we come up with something different.
You just finished writing, it should go to the right. When you finish it, pass it to the right and then start the process.
And once we have one, is this correct?
On separate stickies, yes, so take those stickies and scribe and write each one of the answers on a separate sticky and post it on the wall underneath the numbers that you see there.
Yeah, who's the scribe? Oh, you want to try it? Oh, you got both? No. I was scribe, I got that part. Oh, okay. Oh, so you will be the scribe. We're gonna, when you get ready, you'll write down the remaining solutions.
The weakest idea.
Yeah, well, exactly. And yet, finally, your third one, you should be starting with that part of the process.
Cross out one, pass it to the right. You have one left now? Okay. And write on 5, you can write on 5. Okay, now there's going to be one line on everybody's part.
One per?
What we need you to do is
Yes, you want to cross out.
a set of stickies.
Excellent.
There we go.
Who has finished with the
Write
cross
down
out?
each one of those remaining
You guys have? Okay, who's the scribe? All right. And take each and every one of the remaining answers from each of the cards and write them on a separate sticky. And then take and post it right up here on the wall. All those stickies. I guess there'll be like 4 or 5 stickies that'll be up on the wall. And then we'll take you to the next.
One of the ideas is that like, signal, 4 hours waiting for signal, and then 2 ships. That's 20 minutes.
Use a separate sticky for each one of the remaining ideas, so you can put a separate one on the wall, okay?
Now, once you get all your ideas up here on the walls, you as a team need to come over here and look at the remaining 5 and say, okay, now what is our best solution? So everybody will be up out of their seats and to the walls.
Well, now you actually could have separate stickies.
Put them all on the wall, and you want to go through and look at them.
Lash them together.
Okay. All right, you got 4 ideas.
And it was 4.
In some cases,
Oh, okay.
One on each sheet.
They're all kind of meshing together already.
I know, like,
And I think a lot of us are the same.
yeah, I believe they're gonna have the presentation.
Okay, great. That's what I do. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So they all kind of, so however you do that, if you go like, yeah.
Okay, over there. Okay, now, yep, now your entire team needs to go up there and say, okay, what did we come up with? What was our main 5 rate solution? Yeah.
So you'll have to organize the team because you're going to be the one standing up in front of everybody telling what to do.
Children and the adults in one vest isn't going to work because if they jump into the sea, they're going to die in 4 minutes. So that's why double their loss. And it's a good concept, but unfortunately, when you're near icebergs, your heart will stop.
They were the same? You've already consolidated.
What's the second?
Okay, because that's what you typically do. If this tier, that one, and you had some of them all lined up like that, and then you say, okay, these are all the same. And they kind of end up making one spot. You might have less people. It's like we have 3 minutes. See if you can total system solution out of this, and then try to enhance that solution by using the triggers. Maybe they can, you know, the solution seems good, but we can make it even better. Retrack, rewrite track. So these are now taking the greenway problem from all the ideas, and now you build on it.
I was going to put it in the book too. I was just going to throw them out.
So you should organize the team together to go through this, because you're going to have to stand up
The platform. And you can use the throwing to make What are we doing now?
use the triggers to kind of get yourself thinking about how and then you come up with your total system solution that you're going to break out there. So,
beginning of our problem was an iceberg. The end of our problem is that we had 1,176 people that actually died. We want to change history, and we're going to try and figure out how you guys managed to do it. So, let's start over here with Team 6. What profound solutions did you come up with to save all those folks?
Well, our solution was centered around using tables to expand the capacity of the lifeboats.
Okay.
So if you have 2 lifeboats, put the tables across them so you can have some other people there. And then use those to ferry the people to the iceberg. And after they've had a good meal before they get in the boat, then they'll take their utensils with them and kind of carve out little places where they can step on the iceberg.
And bring right back to the iceberg. Truth be known, that iceberg was as flat as an airline carrier.
Oh, you better.
It was flat as an airline carrier, and that's exactly what they could have done. They could have gone back and, instead of trying to get away from it, they could have taken them right back over there, put them all, let them sit there for 4 hours. They'd have been cold, but you know what? They could have used the blankets and things from the bedrooms. They could have been done.
and one of the triggers is make your enemy your friend. Okay?
So understand what's out there and available to you. That's an absolute great solution. Get them right back to where at least they're not going to be sinking in the water. Okay, Team 4. No, Team 5, sorry. Sorry, I can't count backwards evidently.
Our solution is we're gonna take all the clothing and crates and materials and furniture, we're gonna tie all the lifeboats together, and we're gonna build platforms in between the boats to expand the total capacity and make one giant lifeboat.
Perfect. That would work. I don't know if you guys can see this over here, but they've got a diagram of how they're gonna fix this. When we do these solutions, we bring an artist in that says, okay, because we've only got a limited amount of time, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we bring an artist in there to sketch all this stuff out, and it gets their ideas and their concepts that brings them to life in a picture very quickly. It's really good artists that can think just like that. So it does help when you have a picture in front of people to help them grab that concept and get that graphical representation of what you're trying to talk about. Okay, Team 4.
Okay, that kind of falls in line with what the other two teams said, but basically we're going to take the deck chairs and lash them together, and then take the covers that would be on the lifeboats and kind of put that over, and then attach that to the lifeboats. So
That would work as well. When you stop and think about what are those resources around us that we can use, it's like there are so many different options.
I think they're all pretty similar, because we're kind of a hybrid between that one and this one, using pallets or tables, fastening in between the lifeboats, and just trying to create additional surface area or balance between the lifeboats to hold.
Okay, good.
Trying to create a flotation device.
Yeah.
Okay, Team 2, this Team 2.
Well, out of our 5 solutions, we kind of had a couple major themes that resulted that we found, which was really building a boat with wood or the bed frame is what we were looking at, and then using materials in the room to help as flotation devices. So we ended up with a drawing as well to illustrate what we were thinking, which is the bed frame, cargo trunks underneath the bed frame to add buoyancy to that, and then toilet floats actually underneath that tied together to provide buoyancy, as well as upside down trash cans tied to the ends with shredded sheets from the staterooms and made up of flotation tanks.
See? It'll work. Okay, Team 4 over here.
We're basically on the same lines, we're gonna balance the amount of weight we put in each boat. And we're going to add buoyancy to our lifeboats that we already have using empty oil drums, buoys, life jackets, anything that is buoyant will tie to each boat. Basically overload. By creating more buoyancy, we'll be able to overload the boat more.
Yeah. We saw in the movie that they sent those lifeboats out with not enough people in them. There was more capacity, and those that did go out, they did have difficulty with them staying afloat because some of them got overloaded. So this would take care of that problem. Okay, the other Team 1 back here.
Basically, we were looking at taking the oil drums, or the water drums like that, the barrels and things, emptying them, tying them together, and create basically a raft. You can tie that in together with the lifeboats and things too.
Okay.
So
All right.
that was ours.
Yeah, pretty common theme. We were from the staterooms. We were talking about combining all the mattresses together and any waterproofing materials, such as curtains or whatever that might be. Create that flotation pontoon, and then also taking some of the tables if we could find those and setting those on there. And then there was also talk about maybe breaking up the beds and using those as oars. So. Yeah.
Okay. What had happened is that they all went for the obvious solution, is they are all jumping in the lifeboats. Instead of saying, wait a second, how can we slow this down? We need this thing to last. We can't get this thing to go down in 2 hours. We need it to last for 4, because Carpathia is not going to be there for 4 hours. Slow this puppy down. How do we plug the holes? You take the mattresses. You plug the holes, you can slow it down. You need to be able to get time out of this. So that's another way of looking at it. Going back and going to the iceberg, absolutely a solution that, in a panic situation, of course, we can sit here and think about everything all day long. We weren't going down. We weren't going to die in 4 minutes once we hit the water. But what this is trying to teach you is to look at the things that are around you. Try and change what's going on and come up with a good solution. Now, so a little bit of history, just to tell you on the Titanic, let's see what happened. 1,517 people died. 306 were actually, the bodies were recovered. The largest percentage of survivors came from first class. At that point, and I think we saw it in the movie, they locked the folks below, and there it went every man for themselves.
Go for the upgrade.
Yeah, upgrade every time. We utilize this technique when we are working with our teams, when we're trying to find a solution for our customers. This is what we call our outcome-driven solution process. What we do at Rockwell is that we will talk with our end customers, the end users, and understand what problems are they having. We're trying to change the way that we sell to our customers right now, because usually in the past we would come back and we'd say, here's our black box, isn't it great, don't you love it? And they're like, why do I need an architect then? It's like, okay, now we're trying to change that conversation so that we're getting out there and saying, okay, what are the problems that you're having? Regardless of what kind of wares I have in my trunk. I'm not going to bring them a black box, I'm not going to bring the software, I'm not going to bring the services. I'm going to understand what is their problem. And once we understand what is their problem, you know, we'll do a spot focus groups here and there. And then what we do with that is we take all that input, put it in a survey form, and then sort of blast it out to a larger group so we can get a larger sampling. When we bring that information back in, we analyze it, we identify, okay, what are the priorities that are going on out there in the industry? We break it down by the different demographics. For us, it could be the size of the aircraft, you know, what type of aircraft they've got, if it's business and regional, or if it's airliners. We take a look at all those different things that may be causing some of their concerns. We get the customer in, we talk to them about it, and get a good understanding of it. And then we get our teams together and we do exactly this. This is a very abbreviated version. But we want to look at the solutions that we can bring to the customer, not from just one group. You know, we're not going to do it just for the government systems. We're going to see all the components that we have all across Rockwell Collins from each one of our different groups and say, okay, what can we bring consolidated in from hardware? Now we're going to bring together our hardware, our software, our services, and we're going to come with a solution that will fit that customer. And also, when we're in these ideation sessions, we say, okay, now should we change our business model with this particular customer? Are we just going to go out and sell them the black box? Are we going to give them the black box and charge for services? Or are we going to do something with warranty? You know, we have to think about it a little bit differently. And so we're really trying to utilize, you know, this different way of doing our selling, doing our solution creation to help us make it further in the marketplace. A few little takeaways from today. We've covered a lot of stuff. We want to make certain when you do have a group together, provide materials that will speak to each one of the participants, whether they're those visual learners, those linear thinkers, hands-on activities. Bring them the tools that they can use that will help create, get them to be in that creative mode. Gather your input from your customers. Get some context setting. Understand the environment. What's going on? What do we need? What's the problem? What do we need to solve? Use the pass card methodology, which will get input from everybody. Don't let one person take over the entire conversation. Very often we will get somebody that will come in and goes, okay, I've got it. I've got the answer right here, right now. It's like, no. We're going to go through this. We're going to get everybody's idea. Because they'll come in with some preconceived notions, and it's like, no, you know, you really need to listen to what's going on.
By the way, on that regard, we bring little Nerf guns, and they're up to table. Anybody that does that gets shot. Okay?
Yes, they do. Which, I have to tell you, the evolution of Nerf gun, we started out with these little pop guns. And when you get these GS, our government system guys come in here, they'll come in with these big bazooka-looking things. And I'm like, okay, now wait a second. We're going to need safety here. And then also, use the TRIZ cards. Any of these triggers help create some of the out-of-the-box thinking. Don't go at the solution with don't jump in the lifeboat. That's not always the first solution, the final solution. You know, you got to think about what other things can we utilize around us to apply to the problem. So, yes?
Can we find something in the literature? Is it under TRIZ that would help us use this in our own organization?
Absolutely. There's, I believe, Gary Nesby was telling me that there's somebody up in Ames that actually teaches this and goes out and facilitates it.
There's also online, you can also, if you go to the TRIZ journal, or the TRIZ journal, there is a whole host of free articles well as how it also, there's a few articles on how it relates to theory of constraints, how it relates to lean. So there's a whole body of knowledge, much like any other scholastic kind of process and ideas. So,
And one of the leaders of that TRIZ journal happens to be Ellen Dohm, and she's the one that actually taught us how to do this years ago, so we've been refining it since. We've used this even at the University of Iowa with students down there on different problem sets there, and they found it fascinating too, so it's a very, very effective technique. At the very end, just like you've done with all these ideas, we go beyond that. We then take all these good ideas and see if we can't get even a greater system solution by combining them together at the very end of our activity that we conduct in 2.5 days. So you can see how this is a building type of thing, taking the best ideas and creating the best solution.
Like if we just did a Google search and put in TRIZ journal, and what should show up?
Yes,
Yeah.
most definitely. Okay, that's all the time we got today. I want to thank everybody for participating and coming. Sorry about the cramped quarters, but we made it work.